All right, thanks. All right, well, let's jump in. When I was reading this book, this chapter, simple chapter, when I was reading it, what occurred to me is we don't talk about this stuff very much. And I know that one of the things that Mike White's talking to people about is calling on banks. And following, the smaller banks in the area that sell product we don't sell and don't sell product that we do. And he's got a couple of loan officer clients that are 100% of their business, substantial business is coming from bank referrals. And so I know that he's got Lori working on this on reverses. And I think he's talked to several of you guys about, having the same approach. And so I think this was a timely chapter. What I thought about when I was reading it is it reminded me when I first got in the business, and the way that, because the internet, all of this information that's on the internet now wasn't in 1997, as far as realtor data and listing information and all that listing. Back then, realtors were still wanted to control all that information so that it wasn't out there. And the only way you could buy a house was to talk to one of them and get the big book of listings that they would share with you, and you could drive around and go look at houses on, go look at addresses and shit. So, but what I did a lot then was driving neighborhoods, I would see for sale signs, and just an idea that occurred to me that I thought would be worth pursuing is just the next time you're in a neighborhood, in any neighborhood, the neighborhood you live in, or any neighborhood you're driving through, and you see a listing sign, freaking call them and just go, hey, I wanted to get some information about your listing. We have over 200 and whatever our number pre-approved buyers in our database. And so tell me about this listing and what's the status right now? And just opening up a dialogue that could turn into an appointment. I just thought was like, that's kind of it's kind of an offshoot of what he's talking about here. But I just thought, yeah, like, do we take advantage? Part of what it occurred to me was the story that he told about the guy who, or the gal that spends all of her time, she's in the office for a couple of hours, and then she does her route planning. And then she's constantly going like, who else can I talk to about this? And the other example of, how many times do you give out your business card to somebody who you don't know that could get a mortgage? And so there's a million other opportunities to share what you do that I think we can all improve. I certainly can all improve talking about what we do in an effort to get opportunities that we're not currently getting. So I just thought that was kind of a cool take. So who would like to add anything? And I'd love to hear the people that have already started, calling on some banks, any feedback from you guys as well, or gals.
I could start, I guess.
That would be awesome.
This is funny because I actually had a conversation with Jonathan, because he's like really itching. He's like getting married. He's like, I got to make more money for my family, which is a good motivator. And he was like, how did you get started? And I was like, dude, I just drove around and I did exactly what Dave did. I would like drive home after work. Maybe like I'd leave at like 4 and just go like Ken Carl Valley, like all the neighborhoods around my parents' house, because I was living there, and just picked up flyers when they had flyers on the signs, and then would call listing agents. So yeah, I think, I know it's not in-person stuff, but eventually if you called enough people, you got leads. But for me, my prospecting is, I guess, in person is like, I don't know. I'm not always trying to sell people. I'm just like, hey, you like and trust me. And so if I have a realtor and they golf, I'll take them golfing, because I feel like that's a good relationship building. Kind of chat for 4.5 hours about life, family, and goals and stuff. And that's kind of my thing.
Right on. I just think it would be interesting. Like if you knew you were going to a realtor appointment anywhere, and there's a ton of banks. That's the thing, is that there's so many more. Calling on banks never really occurred to me. And we talked about it. We did some of this in the past where you called on a credit union that wasn't doing any government loans. It's just that there aren't a lot of FHA loan opportunities, but most of these small banks, none of them do CHFA loans, right? And so so it's just an interesting opportunity to approach, like if you were driving to a realtor's appointment, like going, I wonder if there's any banks in the area that I could just stop in. And so that's kind of the approach. It's an interesting take on it, because I don't think that we think, what else can I do? Right. All the time when I'm prospecting. Dean, go ahead. You raised your hand. Thanks.
So in the last couple of weeks, I've actually found 3 banks that don't do any mortgages. They don't do mortgages at all. Or they have like a 15-year kind of their own little special mortgage that they do. But there's a ton of stuff that they don't do that we do. And so those have been great meetings. And yesterday I met with a financial planner that works in a credit union. And they do refer some stuff to the credit union, but there's a ton of stuff that they don't do. And so those, I'm finding that those are great referrals. Now I haven't got any leads from them yet, but there's definitely an opportunity for them to refer business over that they aren't referring to anybody right now. Or
did any of them have a
Pricing.
product? That's great. Did any of them have a product that we don't have, like a land loan?
So a perfect example. So I had a client come, one of my realtor partners contact me about a land loan. I referred that over to
what loan?
A land loan.
Land loan.
Somebody's just trying to buy some land down in Colorado Springs. And so I referred those to 2 of the people I had met with down there that do land loans. That's kind of what they do. And in both cases, they say if they get something through like that, when it becomes, construction loan and then eventually a mortgage, they kick that back over to whoever referred it to them. And in fact, one of the banks said what they prefer is that we pre-qualify them. So go through the process of, gathering some information, having fill out an application with us, and then refer the business over. So that way we have knowledge of what's going on, and it's a qualified lead for them.
Right on.
And then the other thing about just face-to-face, I got a and this is just talking to folks. The way this came about is I had a guy that helped out my mom. I stopped by, thanked him for helping my mom, said, hey, if I can ever help you out, gave him my card. Turns out that,
this was the Brakes Plus guy.
Yeah.
Tell this story. This is great.
They are going to be looking soon. He talked about why they want to, find a new house. And then this week, I actually got a call from a friend of his that he referred over, and I'm meeting with them tonight. So
you went back to the Brakes Plus store to thank the guy for helping your mom.
Yeah.
And you gave him your card. And then he said he'd use you if he needed to, but then he also has referred you to somebody you're having a meeting with tonight.
Yeah. And the guy the couple I'm meeting tonight, they also know a couple people that are out looking right now. So it all started with just showing up at a Brakes Plus store and handing my card to somebody, and who knows where it goes. But
that's the thing, is that
sometimes showing up in person works.
You know who was the best at this? The guy who was the best at that kind of networking is, I know we're off subject here, but from the chapter of the book, Scott Nordby at Innovative Real Estate would talk to anybody in a grocery store line. He'd meet people in the grocery store and he'd be referring, he'd go like, here, call my land. Dave, I need you to talk to these guys. They want to buy. I'm like, where'd you meet them? He goes, they were standing in line in front of me at the grocery store. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, how do you he's like, well, I just start talking to people. And so if you just start talking to people, that's what I'm going to keep harping on it, because it is the answer is like and Mike White, it's a Mike Whiteism. It's from the core. It's, if you're not doing enough business, you're not talking to enough people, having conversations every day with people about mortgages. And that's the answer. So who else wants to add something, please? Crickets.
I can add just a couple of things.
Go ahead.
One of my biggest faults, I think, is I've gotten lazy about recording and right away my notes on people I am having conversations with. Like when we were traveling this week, Wendy had the wheelchair thing through the airport, which is a fun experience. But I gave cards to each one of the people pushing the cart because they either had a brother that was looking for a house, or they themselves were trying to save up to maybe buy a house in the fall. So I said, let's get you, let's have a meeting about where you're at. But again, if I don't take all those notes down, I'm going to get a call from all these random people because I've been handing out a lot of cards. And just kind of at least making a mental note of where I met this person and what their interaction will be. The interaction I have with them follow up will be a lot better. So
Yeah, just having those having random conversations with people when you start asking people questions, and I've always said it, it's you have to like people. So in this business, if you don't like people, then it's a much harder job because you don't like talking to people. The opportunities are, like I said, sit at an intersection and watch how many cars go by. And you realize like, wow, everybody's a potential customer. Anybody else have anything to add? We don't have to stay on the phone for 45 minutes.
Well, I mean, I do. I mean, just there's opportunities everywhere. I was at a friend's house over the weekend, having beers with a bunch of people and talking to this random guy. And my friend, my neighbor, he's younger than us, so he has younger kids. And so he's introducing me to all these younger families. And turned out that one of the guys was a real estate agent and lives in our neighborhood. I didn't know who he was until we started talking and having a few beers. And next thing I know, we're all doing bad shots of Jameson and stupid stuff. And yeah, he was like, I was like, we should definitely talk. And he was excited about it. And he was like, well, let me ask you. He's like, how fast can you close? I was like, we can close in as little as 8 days. And he was like, that's what I want to hear. So, and then it picked off from there. And then, then Caleb has lacrosse practice and talking to new dads because he's on a new club team, and, so getting to know that. And so now those people know what I'm doing. Played golf on Wednesday at Red Rocks Country Club with a real estate agent. It was supposed to just be coffee, but he had somebody back out. He's like, you play golf? I'm like, yeah. And so we went and played on Wednesday, and that was fun. And I got to meet two of his buddies. One owns a car dealership, and another one is chief technical officer for some company. And then our car broke down this week, and so that was fun. And but going in, talking to the mechanic, and just letting him know what I do, and that was it. So lots of
Good job.
talking, but
Excellent job. No, Jay, that's an excellent job. That's it. It's like, you got to talk to everybody because everybody is a potential opportunity, and you don't even know like who randomly can become lifelong friends. Right. Like we talk about that, but like, it isn't just the deal. It's like the opportunity to help people for their whole livelihoods. When it comes to their finances and becoming a trusted advisor to people, it's really cool. It's a great honor actually. So I totally dig it. So I hope you do too. What else? All right.
One of the things I'll just jump in really quick that in reading it is be prepared. And one of the things that I find myself not prepared with is having cards with me. How many times you have a conversation and then someone goes, "Oh, great, do you have a card?" And I just go, "No, shit, I don't."
So what do you do about that? Like, what is everybody else doing about that? Do you all carry cards with you all the time? Because I really like having a compact wallet, and like if I put cards in here, they get all frayed at the end.
Yeah, I don't like handing a trashy looking card to someone.
Yeah, I don't either.
In my wallet, it's gonna look like shit.
I just say no, but let me get your number and I'll send you all my information.
Yeah,
You have their
email.
contact information because you hand someone a card, you're never gonna hear from them again.
Yeah, when I get someone's card, I like throw it on my counter, and then like 2 weeks later, it's in the trash.
I don't have anything fancy, but my friend's company gave out a lot of these to his employees, and he gave me like 5 of them. It's a dot card. So all you do is you tap it on somebody's smartphone and it uploads all your information onto it.
But do you have their information?
What?
have
Well, because then they can text you
that's
their
the key.
information right away.
Well, because what I was going to say is probably the right thing to do is like going, "No, I don't have a card. Give me your phone number and I'll text you." Because now I have their phone number.
Right.
When I text them, if I give them a card, I still don't have their info. I don't know. I don't necessarily.
text them.
Are you talking, Jessica?
Sorry. I agreed with you. That's exactly what I do is I mean, text you and then I go into and the little everything about me and how to get to my application and everything. So it's kind of like the dot card, which I think is pretty cool. But the key is that I get their information and then I put it into my database.
Right on. Anybody else? That's a good idea. I think it's better. Yeah, because I don't have a card. I'm the same way, but that if you just text them, that would work. All right. Let's wrap it up. It's 9:25, everybody. Thanks a lot for your time. I appreciate you jumping on. Have an awesome rest of your day. We'll see you on the call at 5.